It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity without a mic. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties today, but we are in the field, so we're just going to plow forth. Everybody turn up your volume with your succulent tip of the day. And I am at Waterwise Botanicals pulling plants for a new project I'm starting in Rancho Santa Fe. I thought it would be a good time to show you some tips, tricks, things that I look for, things that I look for in plants, things that I look for in special deals, so that you can go shopping like a pro. First off, size. Does it matter? You bet. This is a 5-gallon Portulacaria Afra Variegata. You know this is a plant that I use a lot. It's a great ground cover. Tough as nails. Love this plant. This plant is $18.85 in the 5-gallon can. This very same plant in the 10-inch bowl is only $15.25. And look at how much bigger this plant is than the 5. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but when you come to the nursery, make sure that you check and see if the plant that you're looking for in a 5 might also be available in a bowl or even in a 1-gallon. Sometimes you can get really great deals. And if you're not shopping for a balcony pot and you live in an area where you have wildlife, rabbit, deer, etc., take note. Now, I was going to grab some of these fire aloe. This is a fantastic plant, but I noticed that something has gotten after these out here in the fields, whether it's a rabbit or a deer. They're so desiccated, somebody went to town. So I know now that fire aloe is something that the critters like. Therefore, I am not going to use it. Euphorbia flanaganii, or Medusa's wig, is a plant that I have been using more and more lately. Check this out. Okay, this one looks like it suffered rot. But as a whole, this is a really tough plant. And the selection here at Waterwise is spectacular. Which one do I pick? Look at, they're all so pretty. Well, it kind of depends. Am I looking for a plant to put in a pot to top dress? In which case I might choose something smaller that has more conformational integrity. In other words, it's just, it's a beautiful specimen. It might not be the biggest, but it's, conformationally the prettiest. Or am I looking for something for the landscape? Do I want to run them in mass? Do I want a dozen of them? In which case I would probably choose the larger plant over the smaller conformationally sound plant. Some of these are singles, some are multis. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like six crowns on this. And you know what? It's really a question of your personal preference. There's no, there's no, I don't have a preference. I do. I like the singles. But if you like the multis, get the multi. Also, don't be too impressed with the blooms. Blooms are great, but if you pick a plant that's in full flower, chances are good that it's going to end that flowering cycle real quick. Whereas if you can apply a little bit of patience and choose something that's just budding or not in flower, you'll get the magic a little later after it's been planted. Echeveria harmsii ruby slippers is one of my favorite plants to work with. But here's an example of which one of these do you choose? I choose this one. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, but Laura, look at all of the stress on the other one. It's turning red. It's got those beautiful blooms. Exactly. When this blooms, see how it blooms on a terminal head, meaning that once it finishes blooming, there's nothing left. So you have to cut this back hard. After the plant blooms, you have to cut the blooms off hard, and then you've got a really woody looking plant. It'll survive and it'll rebloom, but it doesn't look the greatest. Go with this one, enjoy it. It's going to turn red too once it gets planted and gets, stressed out a little bit, but it won't bloom for a number of weeks or months. You'll get more enjoyment out of it. Oh, and a little apple snap. That's just a little one-off. When do you water your plant after you get it home, after you plant it? Well, check the soil. Is the soil wet when you plant it? Then don't water. Is the soil dry and you're planting it in a full sun area? Then yes, give it a little drink. Moisten that soil. If you are planting a plant in the full sun, the soil is dry, remember not to overdo the water. Remember to let the plant, the soil dry out in between waterings. That is a golden rule of thumb with succulent plants. Senecio amaniensis. This is a plant that I like to use as cuttings. This top part, it looks like a protea. It's so pretty. Not a big fan though of the legginess. So what I'll do when I'm shopping for this plant, knowing that I'm going to be cutting it up and tucking it in as cuttings, maybe in a tapestry or as part of a tight grouping, I'm going to count heads. I don't care about conformation. I don't care if it looks woody or raggedy. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's like 15 heads on this plant versus one that may be a little more compact and conformationally sound that only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 heads. So same price. Do I want one with 10 heads or one with 15 heads? If you're working with cuttings or you're wanting to work with cuttings, choose plants that'll give you the most bang for their buck. And it's not a trip to Waterwise without checking out the display garden that we installed back in March. Oh, glory. It looks fantastic. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your nursery do's and don'ts and tips of the trade and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, everybody.